This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Kundalini Yoga, known as the Yoga of Awareness, is an ancient technology for awakening the life force lying dormant within each one of us. Conceptualized as a sleeping serpent, coiled up at the base of our spine, this latent source of primordial energy is mobilized through the actions and components of the kriyas that lie at the heart of Kundalini Yoga practice. A kriya is a sequence of physical movements or postures that often include pranayama, breathwork, mantras, sacred syllables, mudras, hand positions, bandhas, body locks, as well as eye focus and angular positions to awaken, direct, and contain the flow of this spiritual energy within. The benefits of Kundalini Yoga are felt on both the physical and the etheric planes, since as that dormant force arises, it strengthens our vitality and sense of well-being, while simultaneously expanding our consciousness and enhancing our capacity for joy and fulfillment through divine union, the ultimate goal of all yogas. As such, it is both a therapeutic as well as a highly potent spiritual system, culminating in our awakening and transformation. Our moods, attitudes, and general outlook on life are related to the light that shines forth from within us. In Kundalini Yoga, we call it radiance. Valeria Teles interviews Karuna Kundalini, devoted mother, daughter, sister, friend, coach, speaker, and teacher, bringing compassion, enthusiasm, and pure joy to every Kundalini Yoga practice. A devoted mother, daughter, sister, friend, and teacher, Karuna brings her own unique brand of compassion, enthusiasm, and pure joy to every Kundalini Yoga practice. Based in Boulder, Colorado, she teaches daily group yoga classes and private lessons, leads weekend intensives on varying themes, including relationships, women's issues, and mastering challenges, and leads retreats internationally. Karuna is an associate-level trainer in the Aquarian Trainer Academy. She arranges Level 1 teacher training programs and Level 2 teacher training modules in conjunction with lead teachers from the Kundalini Research Institute. In addition, she offers guided health cleanses and organizes special events featuring world-renowned Kundalini Yoga teachers, artists, and musicians. Certified in teaching yoga to children, teenagers, and prenatal moms, Karuna has taught for the Santa Monica Malibu school system in California, leading classes for 2nd and 4th graders, as well as high school students. Meet Karuna at lightonkundalini.com. Here's the interview with Karuna Kundalini.
In your own words, who is Karuna Kundalini?
Well, Karuna, blessings, Valeria, for having me on your show today. I'm always blessed to speak from the heart about Karuna. Karuna is a name, means compassion. And compassion to me, when the name was offered to me in Varanasi and Banaras, India in 2004, it changed my life, because when you're offered a spiritual name, you have to live to that gift. In my way, I'm a devotional bhakti yogi. and yogini, and I teach Kundalini Yoga. So that's the Kundalini of it, and that's the energy that lies dormant at the base of our spine and the tip of our tailbone. And once that is released, and I say always ask all beings to find it through devotion and not so much a rigid, linear practice, but more a spontaneous awakening where yet you are healthy enough to apply the awakening to some sort of new life force inside of you that you've been authentically invited and given in from the womb, but yet hesitant to go into. So compassion has many different faces. Karuna has many different faces, and it goes very well with me.
That sounds beautiful.
Different faces, yes.
Compassion. So many questions came to mind. How would you describe the feeling of compassion, Karuna?
It's soft, it's beautiful, and yet it's very, I love my deity of Kuan Yin, mercy. She says she won't leave the planet Kuan Yin until the last tear is dropped. And that means settle. That means subtle. That means simply letting the softness of love come in through devotion, and place of the harsh Piscean way, in which has nothing to do with the astrological sign of Pisces. It's in the old Kali Yuga, the dark, coming into this light force of the Aquarian age, which we will settle in the next 11 years, activated in 1945. So, and actually hit on March 21st, 2020, that spectacular day that we'll all remember when we all were in lockdown. And it was like, okay, ready, steady, let's go.
Yeah, wow. So you do connect the events in 2020 to spiritual revolution, right?
I do, and I hope everyone will take this opportunity to look back and see how they connected it to their spirituality and their evolution, and how they brought their homesteads into homeschooling, into participating, into feeding each other, holding each other, and finding room for more openings.
Yes. I love that word, being open, flowing with life, and curious. Is compassion for others connected to self-compassion?
I don't think you can find compassion for others until you have self-love and self-care and self-compassion, because there's no spaciousness when we're contracted. And when we open up these vayus inside of this on a cellular and the atom of each one of our being with compassion, also inviting forgiveness to find more compassion and spaciousness, then we have an opportunity to share. And until we open up our vessel through Kundalini Yoga, through breath work, through the prana, the breath, it doesn't have to be extensive movement. You just have to breathe, and it's your God-given gift. You can't live without breath. So we have to find that compassion and that spaciousness, inviting more and more teachings, awareness, awakenings, yoga practice, meditation practice, into really understanding compassion, because she has, like I mentioned, so many different faces. She's got a bold face. She might be Kali, she might be Durga, she might be Kuan Yin, she might be Mother Mary. She's got so many different faces. Karuna Mayama, Saraswatiji, there's Hindu, there's so many different aspects of compassion. Yet the Bodhisattva in all of us is compassionate. is to the self-service of others, is to be willing to offer what we can in kindness and generosity. And it's not just the flowering of these words coming through me to you, to our listeners. It's really the activation inside of you where you have the capacity. And that's where we call in, so many parts of practice.
Do you define self-love and self-care in the same way, or they are different components, they are different practices per se?
No, it's all one big, bubble of and energy. Energy is energy. Love is love, right? Then you want to have self-care. You want to take a bath. You want to walk on the Mother Earth and nature. You want to listen more deeply. You want to care more for others and reach out to, bring a neighbor cookies if they're not, even if they're feeling well. Just there's no any reasoning behind service, and serving. And when you can serve yourself and you're rested, Valeria, this is the key, is rest.
Yeah, it's so true.
Time. We don't have to shove a practice down your throat.
True, so true.
In your body every day. You can live 24/7 in self-care and self-love. Even when it's not so pretty, even when you do a face plant, it's you get yourself up and you run like a hero to get to some help. That's self-love. When your, nose is bleeding from a face plant, you trip. People trip. We trip. And nobody is immune from that.
So it can become a way of living, a way of being.
Oh, yes, it's got to be. And because then we're not segmenting and separating our quadrants into like, I only have time for this yoga practice 1.5 hours or 1 hour or 10 minutes or 3 minutes. And that's it. And I'm off, It's when you can extend your breath into a longer, deeper, more awakening. There's so much love inside of you and practice that's just waiting for you to open up and be realized with yourself, listening to yourself. You don't have to listen to anybody. You've got the answers within. And that's why I love the kriyas that come with Kundalini Yoga, because there's over 4,000 kriyas, and it's an ancient teaching. Wow. So it's wisdom.
Yeah, what a beautiful message, that everything's happening within, it's accessible, it's here now. It's just being open to listen. I love that. Listen to the intuition, listen to life itself. And the idea of flow, it really comes to me as flow.
And taking time to ask questions. That's what I love about, and that takes courage and grit and community to feel safe in your environment, to heal from grief. To go down deep and under that anger where that grief lies and say, I'm willing to look at you, dear grief. I love you. I want to hold you and help you through this. And it's me doing me, right? Go out and finding someone to do you. You do you. You know where to access you. You definitely do.
So true. What are some of the signs, Karuna, of healing? How do we learn to recognize the feelings and the signs that when healing's taking place?
Your tears come more often. Your heart is sensitive to what you're hearing, and you can calculate how you're hearing it by your reactiveness. And if you're against, what you're listening to, you probably need it a lot more. It's the resistance and the overacting of, and with the interaction of, oh, wow, I need to hear this. This is not feeling cozy at all. This feels very uncomfortable. My ego's being challenged. I have no answers. I'm humbly got my tail between my legs. I'm scared to death. My fear is overcoming me. I need to work on myself. Because we don't have to live in fear anymore, Valeria. That fear is obvious and it's not relating to who we are in our evolutionary spiral. We have a new spiral from the tip of the tailbone going up the spine. And when we hydrate, eat a good diet, some of that is all about diet and too much sugars, too much uric acid in the body. And it's not really to do with, the valve of unity anymore. It's really to do with your ego. I have to be this way. I have to eat this way. I have to drink this way. This is who I am. And it's certainly the cause of a habit. And once we get into that habit, we have a 40-day meditation to break any habit you want to break, but it takes 40 consecutive days to break it. And that's the willingness to commit. And commitment brings character, and character brings dignity and divinity, and grace is the ultimate expression of compassion.
Yeah, I love that message of the body holding these energies and these ideas and concepts of who we are. It's false beliefs and limiting ideas. It's so true.
That chaos that we're watching globally. And these, Afghanistan, it's serious, the slavery, we're so many years old, and yet it's, slavery ended 200 years ago only. That's not a long time ago. And, we're trying to pioneer, trying to shift the consciousness. And in meditation on a daily basis, we can shift this meditation to a global human family where we're talking from our pineal gland and everybody's radiating. Doesn't it sound delicious?
It does. It does.
Yeah. Like being in the ocean all day long. You get hit by the wave and you just, you swim with it or against it, but you're conscious of it.
Question that I usually ask, not to everyone, I'll ask you, is about this moment in time where humans on Earth lived in harmony, when the energies of masculine and feminine, they were balanced. Did this ever happen before from your awareness? Or
let's take it back to the Native Americans, shall we?
Yeah.
Where they had the sweat lodge, where they had the teepee, where they had the red tent, where they were nurturing women and, in their moon cycles, where they were waking up every day to the ultimate being, the one with everyone. This is something that we're trying to become brand new at. And whether we have had this before, universal freedom for all humans before, we have. And that is part of what, our whole cleaning up, the types of these treatments of this unification that we're trying to find. Because to answer your question, I feel like we wouldn't know what it would be like to have this conversation if we hadn't been here before.
Right, Karuna. That is so true. It's a remembrance, right?
Yeah, but we need to reunite the person and the shadow so that this whole heart and the psyche can resonate and understand, shadow. Yeah, make an effort to show up, right? With your shadow and say, geez, and it's that egocentric, ethnic-centric, that world-centric we're moving into. We're going to open up this paradigm with your podcast, with everyone's willingness to really bow back down to the earth, take care of global warming, but we have to do it. And we are the pioneers. We know how to do this.
I love your answer. So if we are speaking about it, it's because we have been there before and we are remembering that.
We're remembering exactly. And then, we just have to have patience.
Yeah, patience, right? Which it's part of love.
Such a patience. Patience pays at the hand of God, and God is generator, organizer, delivery. Let's stand back, and exchange this heart intuition.
Yeah. What do you love most about being in a human body?
Love.
Yes. It goes back to love.
I mean, I love nature that I can see through my eyes. This beautiful planet. I love learning from, from each other, from you, from all our wonderful teachers out there that are so willing to jump on these podcasts and, in however way we can deliver the message. And then to watch this first snowfall coming down out my window, sitting right here with you, and just seeing the old, the pots that were so beautiful just a month ago, just settle back down and let the leaves fall, the aspens drop and, become mulch. And here we go again. So we're doing that with our body. We give ourselves time to heal. And then we find that, I'm waking up so peacefully in the quiet of, nature. Even if I'm in a big city, I'm not isolated from the reality of what people are going through and how this grid can become effortless to reunite. We need to clean up. We work with so many aspects of waking up, growing up, cleaning up with yoga, and then to show up. And now we're talking with the word you loved so much that you've heard from this conversation, opening up.
Yeah. Openness. That is, to me, the key to unlock then what we call freedom or liberation. And when you talk about nature, that's what we see in nature. It just is what it does, and it's the most beautiful thing. It's not perfect, but it's just the most amazing thing. And we are nature, right, Karuna? We are not apart from nature.
We are so nature, and we are so, willing. The most important part in my loving, living is recovery. I love when you come to me with an addiction or you have a problem or, I've been there. I've lived through so many lifetimes of these same conversations on, many different careers I've had in the public eye and, and humbly a mother and, and being in the world of entertainment and acting and modeling and all these different aspects of the hashtag Me Too and whatnot. It's just endless amount of experience that we have in this life too. So, somebody asked me the other day, how did you go from being, a Ford model in New York to a yoga teacher in Colorado or universally? And I just said, I have no clue.
Yeah.
It's just
Beautiful answer.
Life cycles. It's life cycles. It changes every 18 years. It changes every 7 years. It changes every 11. So life cycle changes and lifestyle changes. And of course, we mature and we take responsibility, bring peace to others, right? Yes, patient. Stop bullying yourself. Look in the mirror. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Heat comes, the inner heat, if you have a rash on your face, comes from the diet, comes from the too much heat in the body. So supplements with, celery and parsley and juicing and understanding there's a way through every block. Just start.
And yoga has everything to do. One is yoga means union, and it really tries to guide us to balance. It's all about that, isn't it, Karuna? Harmony and balance.
Oh, perfectly said. So beautifully said. One of the wonderments about Kundalini Yoga is 4 steps: poke, provoke, confront, elevate. So we do, 45 minutes of movement and then 11 minutes of meditation, because at that 11-minute mark, that last bit, you elevate. And if I leave you in a class hanging and unbalanced, then I haven't done my job. And there's just so much to offer in meditation for you to sit with yourself. And whether you add mantra, which is really what brought me to Kundalini Yoga, was the mantra, the mudra, the body locks, and the sound current, Valeria, the sound. Because, most people are, a lot of humans are talking from chakras, right? So every chakra tells a story, and you know where everyone's coming from. They can come from that neutral mind, that heart chakra, working through the negative mind, which is below the navel, above the navel, positive, and then land in the heart, and then go up and up through the upper triangle. That's the frequency we want to resonate from. And that's the frequency in which your whole body will supply the nectar and the serum and the super amazing hormones that, excuse me for this. It's so funny. It says bountiful on the phone. I love bountiful. And it is. It's exactly the message is I am beautiful. I am bountiful. I am blissful. And you see, when you answer the call, you always know it's in pure alignment when you can just answer the call to your soul. And that's super enlightenment. That's what we're waking up from. Day-to-day dream state to this awakened state.
Yeah, so it is a movement, a dance, right, Caroline?
It's such a movement, dear. Oh my God, especially, you can do it right where you're sitting. You can move it. You don't have to go anywhere.
It can be felt, even when you speak, the body, and it feels different. So
yes, your voice resonates in the frequency. Yeah, it just claps for you inside and smiles.
Yeah. Yes.
Smile on your face, it's vitality. I mean, it's stamina and vitality.
Yeah, when you talk about sound,
Yeah, and sound current. And when you chant, that's 5th chakra, that's your throat. And that's the only one of the 10 bodies, the physical body, and it's around your throat chakra.
You have a course that is titled 81 Facets of the Mind. Talk to me for a moment about that.
I invite everybody to join this course, and it's available for you on Vimeo. It's 81 Facets of the Mind. What we've done is we've taken each aspect and each part of your mind has a projection and an aspect that goes along with it. So in case you're wondering if today I'm to be the manager of my company or my CEO, and where am I going to find my projection, and how am I going to deliver my speech from there, and where am I, where they're going to hear me and I can understand, I take my notes, I bring my notes, and I'm, my managerial skills with me. And that's just one aspect and facet of the mind that has to go deeper. There's the producer, there's the defender, there's the artist, there's the actor. There's so many different aspects. And then there's the archetypes that go with each one of the aspects. So when you go into the manager and you just deliver your speech and nobody hears you, that's because you're not looking at the projection of what your outcome is, and you're not looking at the aspects in which people can understand what you're delivering to them to get some results for what you want. So we've tapped in with videos. We've focused on all 81 facets. And we've made videos to each one of the facets. And so we have multiple videos that goes with each one. And you can just zoom right into that part of the brain that holds you back from being your truest voice. And that truest voice is not truly found on the level outside of you. It's, you have to go in and meditate with that honesty of that aspect and that projection of that manager before you go out and put yourself on the line in front of 10, 20, 100 people and try to sell them something. For example, I'm just using the manager or the producer that's pitching a project, right? But each one of these has to be meditated with so you can check it off, so you can understand where it's coming from, because otherwise you'll have a bit of a hiccup. There's something in our subconscious patterns, Valeria, that take us away from our true essence of a delivery of a speech, which is even hard to say here with you, because there's a bit of a hesitation that we all want to say, we all want to know, we all want to give and deliver, but things come in the atmosphere around you and within you that bring on that voice that is hesitant to express, because there might be someone more important in front of you, that you haven't tapped into that consciousness of, I am who I am, that is that, bountiful, blissful, whatever, right? You haven't tapped into that strength. But once you go into these 81 facets with each video, you just check them off. Each one of them you check off, and they're quite happy then. That's all you, by the way, is quite happy in your mind that you understand where you're going to when you're delivering that project, or you're trying to get that job, or or it's just a sleep pattern, or it's a habit, or whatever it is, you're just tapping in. And it's quite a fun adventure, these 81 facets. It's super amusing.
Wow, it sounds like it.
Never ever seen such a map of my mind before. I never knew that these facets even existed.
Yeah, that makes me think about alignment. So all parts of ourselves, they are resonating with one another. And there's nothing really left out, like you said earlier about the shadow. Nothing is being excluded. So everything's included. That resonates very much, because that's going back to wholeness, though. It's really coming from that space of, I know I am wholeness. I know I am life itself, and there's nothing missing, nothing.
And you can be honest about that. You can be super true and super real when you come into that stage, even if people don't even know what you're talking about.
That happens too. That happens very often.
Very often, until we all wake up, grow up, clean up, show up, and do this together to open up. It's going to happen a lot, but it's okay. It's super okay, because we're non-egoic, right? We have all the time in the world to explain. Maybe a little bit more you need to know. But in a non-egoic way. It's hard, because the teenagers of today are really yearning for this. They're Aquarian, they know, but it's the older Piscean, older 50, 60-year-old, 70, that are just so stuck. They don't want to know. They're in the 3.5 billion, in their one religion. And so it's like, where do you bring in yoga, and where you don't call it religious? It's not religion. It's not.
Yeah, yoga is not a religious practice. Would you say it's a spiritual practice,
Oh,
Karuna? It
yes.
is, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. But that's spirit, right? And spirit is soul. And that's puts a beautiful light in your third eye point in your pineal gland. And it removes the old patterns. And so, yeah, it's super spirit. Yeah.
So we're almost at the end. I do have a few more questions for you. It's
Thank you.
delightful to talk to you. I'll be here forever if I could. I would just stay here and listen and talk. You teach children too, right, Karuna?
I do. I teach. I love the innocence of a child.
I can imagine.
Oh, yeah, they just fall. I used to teach in the Santa Monica charter schools in California, and they would be in full lotus waiting for me.
Yeah, that's sweet.
The second graders and the fourth graders, and they were like, "Look, look, look," and they're so happy. And the one thing about children is they're trying to get their parents in alignment.
Oh, yeah, right. It's quite the opposite, the dynamics there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're first with their mats out, and they're in the front of the row.
So they are open to it. That makes sense that they would be open to this. So I have a few more questions, the ending questions. But before I ask them, would you like to add anything else that we didn't discuss?
I just want to add the willingness to listen to you all and to bring in an awareness where this isn't, it's not a method acting course, which I've done plenty of. It's really about paring away all those old patterns of resentment, and regret, abandonment, grief, and getting to the core of your authentic voice. And that's what I invite in with this yogic practice. And I'm on 3 times a week on Instagram, on Light on Kundalini, at Light on Kundalini. It's LIGHT. And it's a beautiful practice, and it's simple, and it's brand new every day. We come on at 9 a.m. on Mountain Time, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Valeria. And Saturdays are rebirthing. And so the rebirthing isn't your typical, I don't know what you guys have done out there as far as rebirthing, but this is not what you're going to find here. You're going to find a reunification of you in such an authentic way. So, yeah, it's important.
That's very inviting, of course. I love what you do, Karuna. Thank you so much for being open to these deeper wisdoms. My final questions, let me see, I have too many here. I'll ask you this one. What is another word for life?
Light.
What are 3 things you wish everyone to experience before they lose the body?
Happiness, love, peace.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for your presence, the work you do, and everything else in between that could be felt today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions and for asking such pertinent, important ones for all your listeners. And bless you all out there in this world of Valeria Copeman. I'm so glad that I got to be a part of your show. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Karuna. And before we say goodbye, where can we find more information about you, your work, products, services, and future projects?
Wonderful. Costa Rica, everyone. Let's come to Costa Rica. You can go to Light, LIGHT, on Kundalini, KUNDALINI.com. And there you'll find the Costa Rica events and all the workshops. Also, Sacred Stories is a publication, and our own publication where I'm host editor of an issuu.com/Light on Light magazine and Light on Light press. So you can publish your book with us, and look out for my new book coming out called The Yoga of Awakening, and at Light on Kundalini on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm so blessed in Twitter and LinkedIn and everywhere. So let's communicate together, everyone. Let's open this conversation more deeply. And Valeria, thank you so much.
Thank you, Karuna. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Karuna Kundalini and her work, please visit lightonkundalini.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.